There are sounds you hear in the night that your brain immediately explains away. The house settling, a car passing outside, wind against the window. But then, there are sounds that your brain goes completely silent for. Sounds that make every single hair on your body stand up. Sounds that make you realize something is very, very wrong. What I heard at 3 a.m. that night was one of those sounds. And I truly wish, I had never opened that door. This happened about 2 years ago, when I was living alone. A small house on the outskirts of town. Nothing historically creepy about it. No dark past. No strange history. Just a plain, simple, single-story home at the end of a quiet street. The nearest neighbor was about a quarter-mile down the road. No streetlights, just trees, darkness, and silence. Every single night. I worked from home back then, so my schedule was irregular. Some nights I'd be up until 2 a.m. Other nights I'd crash early from exhaustion. That particular night, I had finished work around midnight, made myself some tea, was winding down watching something on my laptop. By 1:30 a.m. I turned everything off and went to bed. The house felt normal, quiet. I remember checking the front door was locked. I always did that before bed. Checked the back door too, both locked. Windows closed. Everything exactly as it should be. I fell asleep quickly that night. No bad feelings, no strange dreams. Nothing warned me about what was coming. Then at exactly 3:07 a.m., I know the exact time because I looked at my phone. I woke up, not gradually, not slowly drifting to consciousness the way you normally do. I was suddenly, completely, violently awake, like something had reached inside my sleep and yanked me out of it. I lay there in the dark, heart already beating faster than it should be, and I thought, why did I wake up? What woke me up? And then I heard it. 3 knocks, slow, deliberate. Knock, 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 coming from the front door. Now let me explain something. I lived on a dead-end street. Nobody had any reason to be at my door at 3 a.m. No neighbors close enough to walk over. No late-night deliveries. Nothing. My first thought was, maybe I imagined it. Maybe it was a dream bleeding into waking. So I stayed completely still and listened. 30 seconds of silence. Then it came again. Knock, knock, knock. Same rhythm, same slow, deliberate pace. Like whoever was on the other side had all the time in the world. I sat up in bed. My mouth was dry. I grabbed my phone, 3:07 a.m. I sat there trying to think rationally. Maybe a drunk person had the wrong house. Maybe someone needed help. Maybe there was an emergency. I got up slowly, not turning any lights on. I don't know why, instinct maybe. Something told me not to announce that I was awake and moving. I crept down the hallway toward the front door. The knocking had stopped again, total silence. I stood about 6 feet from the door, just staring at it, in the darkness. 1 minute passed. 2 minutes. Nothing. I almost convinced myself I had imagined the whole thing. Then I made a mistake. I leaned forward and looked through the peephole. The porch light was off, but there was just enough moonlight coming through the trees that I could see the front porch. It was empty. Nobody there. I let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. I stood back up straight, almost laughed at myself for being so scared. And I turned around to go back to bed. That's when the knocking started again. But this time, it wasn't coming from the front door. It was coming from the window. Right beside me, inches from my face. Knock. 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 I didn't scream. I think I was too terrified to scream. I just froze. Completely. My back to the window, unable to turn around, unable to move at all. The knocking stopped. Silence. Then, I heard something that turned my blood completely cold. Breathing. Slow, wet breathing.
right on the other side of the glass.
I have never in my life felt fear like that moment. It was paralyzing, absolute. Every rational thought left my head, completely. I finally managed to move. I ran back to my bedroom, slammed the door, locked it, even though I knew a bedroom door lock meant nothing, and pressed my back against the wall. I called 911. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely dial. The operator answered and I whispered what was happening. She told me to stay calm, stay inside, and that she was sending someone. Estimated arrival, 12 minutes. 12 minutes. Felt like a lifetime. I sat there on the floor in the dark, phone pressed to my ear, listening. For about 2 minutes, nothing, just silence. Then, the knocking moved. I could track it as it went, from the front window, slowly around the side of the house, to the side window in the hallway, then further, toward the back of the house. Slow, patient, methodical, like whatever was outside was looking for a way in. I heard it reach the back door, and then, something that made my stomach drop completely. The door handle moved, slowly turning, testing, once, twice. The lock held. Silence again. Then I heard something I still cannot fully explain. To this day, a sound that wasn't quite a voice, but wasn't quite an animal either. It was somewhere, horribly, in between. A low, wet, gurgling sound that rose and fell, like it was trying to form words, but couldn't quite manage it. It lasted maybe 10 seconds. Then, complete silence. The police arrived 9 minutes later. They searched the entire property with flashlights, checked every window, every door, the tree line, the road. They found nothing. No footprints. No signs of anyone. Nothing disturbed anywhere outside. One of the officers told me it was probably an animal. Maybe a raccoon or a coyote that had gotten confused and was bumping against the house. I nodded and thanked them. I didn't argue, but I know what I heard. Animals don't knock in threes. Animals don't test door handles. Animals don't breathe against windows. And animals don't make sounds, like they're trying to speak.
I didn't sleep the rest of that night. I sat in the corner of my bedroom with every light in the house on, until sunrise. In the morning, I walked around the outside of the house myself, looking for anything the police might have missed. I found two things that I never told anyone about, not the police, not my friends, nobody. The first thing, on the outside of my bedroom window, at exactly eye level, there were two faint smudges on the glass, oval-shaped. Like something had pressed its face against the window and looked in. The spacing between them was wrong for a human face. Too wide. Much too wide. The second thing, at the base of my back door, pressed into the mud right in front of the step, there was a single impression. Not a footprint exactly, more like something had been kneeling there, or crouching.
If you made it this far, you're one of us now. And before you go, have you ever experienced something in the night that you couldn't explain? A sound, a feeling, something that just felt wrong? Tell me in the comments below. I read every single one. Hit subscribe and join the Dark Chronicles family, where every week we go deeper into the dark. And tell me below, should our next story be about haunted places or true encounters? You decide what darkness we explore next. I've never had an experience like that since.
I've never heard that sound again, that horrible, wet sound, like something trying to speak, but failing. But some nights, when the house is quiet, and it's past 3 a.m., I find myself lying completely still in the dark, listening. Because whatever was outside my door that night, it never knocked twice at the same house. At least, that's what I tell myself. That's what helps me sleep. If you're watching this late at night, alone in your house, I want you to do one thing for me. Make sure your door is locked. And if you ever hear 3 slow knocks at 3 a.m., Don't open it.